15 minutes. This is where we're going to be doing 5-minute exercises. We're going to do one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. Now, the purpose of this exercise is to help you to reach your goals and also jumpstart your morning. By the way, if you do this 15 minutes before you have breakfast, you have accomplished more than most people accomplish all day. So welcome. My name is McAdams. I am an author. I'm also an accounting professor and a certified coach. I specialize in personal and small business finance and also fitness. I help people reach goals in those areas. I want to welcome you to the challenge. And again, what we're going to be doing for the mind portion is we're going to be reading a book. And for the book is basically designed to stimulate your mind to insert something positive, like kind of kind of plant positive seeds of minds into your thoughts to help cultivate a different type of habit within you. And then of course for the body portion, we're trying to strengthen up our bodies. We all want to look great and feel great. We get the blood circulating first thing in the morning if you're joining me in the morning. And then also for the meditation, the purpose of the meditation that we're going to use it for is to actually learn how to clear and calm our mind and our body. All right, so again, I want to welcome you. Thank you, those of you that are watching live, and also those that are taking the time to watch the recording. Remember, the purpose of this is to feed your mind. And a lot of times what I hear from clients or from students and just from all over, from friends, family, everyone, is that I don't have enough time. There's not enough time. Well, I'm going to suggest that there is enough time because we all have the same 24 hours, right? But it's how you utilize those 24 hours. And I guarantee you, if you just take a little time for yourself first, it's going to make that much of a difference. Think of an analogy of when you hear, when you get on the airplane, for those of you that have ever flown before, what do they tell you to do if there's an emergency and the little mask comes down and you're traveling with a small child? They tell you to put your mask on first before you then assist the child. Well, what is the purpose of that? Do you really, I know we understand it, we understand it intellectually, but do you really think about what they're saying to us? They're saying save yourself so that you have the strength and the energy and the wherewithal to save your child. So that same concept follows you throughout your life, right? Work on yourself first so that way you have the energy, you have the wherewithal, you have everything you need in order to help others. Where a lot of times we tend to just give, especially as women, we tend to give all of ourselves to our family, to our job, just to everyone else, and particularly our kids, But again, do something for yourself. And doing something for yourself, you're going to find that you have a totally different outlook. Now, as far as the transformation is concerned, good morning, Patty. As far as the transformation is concerned, how this is going to happen is this. A lot of times what we tend to do is we tend to work on one portion of our whole self. And we are made up of three: the mind, the body, and the soul. So a lot of times we tend to work on the outward portion, the portion that we see. I get it. You look at yourself every day in the mirror, whether you want to or not sometimes, you just kind of pass by. And then a lot of times you don't like what you see, so you're very critical. And so then you say, okay, I'm gaining weight, or I just don't like this part, or I want to lose this, or this happened. All kinds of things. We're very critical of ourselves. And so then we go out to try to fix those particular quote-unquote flaws. Well, guess what happens? Let's say that those quote-unquote flaws get fixed. A lot of times we're still not happy with those results. And why is that? Well, let's maybe possibly consider because there's 2/3 of you that you really didn't work on. You say, well, Pia, okay, I get what you're saying. I do read. Okay, but what is it that you're reading? Maybe it's time to read something different. Or you say, well, Pia, I do the things. I do work out and I do read. I just don't do the meditation. Well, again, all three parts. And I'm not saying that you have to read for your mind. That's just my opinion, one of the best things to do. You don't have to do yoga for the body, but my opinion is it's an exercise, if you will. It's a practice, really, but it's something that anyone can do, and it strengthens your body, and it's non-weight bearing. It's basically utilizing, this challenge, you're utilizing your God-given talents. We're not adding anything else, obviously, besides the reading. But guess what? A lot of these readings are God-inspired. We all think that just the Bible is God-inspired, but that's not necessarily true. We're all inspired, right? I've been inspired to write books, and so, for instance, the book that we're reading is all because of inspiration. And where does that come from? Okay? So again, this is utilizing our talents and working on our complete self. And with that complete self working on, you're going to find that you're happier, you have a positive outlook, and you're just going to be able to succeed and achieve your goals. And that's the purpose of this challenge. So to this book that we're going to be reading is Psycho-Cybernetics. Again, this is we've been reading this book. So if you followed me before today, I did a 30-day challenge, and yesterday was the last day, and we started reading this book. And so I made like an announcement, so excited that I'm going to start doing this broadcast every single day. But if you know, this is not a challenge anymore. It's just transforming your life in 15 minutes. There are going to be some changes starting June 1st, and I'll start implementing them now just to kind of test them. But starting June 1st, I'm going to be reading from the book that I wrote, and then I'm also going to be doing a different yoga routine, and then I'm also going to be doing a different meditation. I'm going to be doing the guided meditation. So I'm so excited for June for those things to be implemented. But in the meantime, again, I'm going to be using these last 6 days of this month, just kind of like test. So you guys like my guinea pigs to see, and please provide feedback. You can do it in the comments. I love comments, by the way. Thank you for the comments and the arrows and the hearts and all that. Keep those coming. I appreciate those. And then also, but if you prefer offline, of course, I love talking with you and connecting with you offline as well. So with this book here, I love that I started with this book because this particular book, I was attracted to it because in my practice as a coach, I would help people reach their goals, and people would achieve their goals, and some of them, majority, a good portion of them would be happy with the results, but there was a few that just wasn't, and it would just baffle me because I just didn't understand it. Like, okay, you lost the pounds, you look great, you say you feel great, but you're not happy, and why is that? And then, of course, they would later on, regain the weight. Or, for instance, I may help someone, construct a budget, and they reach their financial goals, they pay off all the debt, they're excited, whatever. They're excited outwardly, but then after a while, they're still not happy about their progress. It's like it was almost like you're trying to feed unending quench or thirst. And it's like, you set out the goal to do this, and you reached it. Why aren't you happy with it? And so this book led me to the realization that it's because of our subconscious mind. And so that's what we're learning about in this book is the power of our subconscious, and particularly our self-image that we develop along the ways. It started when we were a small wee baby, a child, and as we grew up, we developed a self-image of ourselves. So if you're having trouble reaching your goals, I want you to consider that it's possibly your self-image. And so this book has been giving us tools on how to reprogram that self-image. So if you have missed the recordings, they are on my fan page if you just go underneath the videos. But they're also all recorded on my YouTube. So if you just search for me, Pia McAdams, on the YouTube, you will actually see my postings, my videos there. I also did a separate video I talked about particularly, I go into more detail about why I chose this book. I also walk you through the Yoga Sun Salutation. And then I also walk you through the mechanics of doing the Ujjayi breath. So those are all videos that can be found on my fan page. But if you're having trouble finding them there, they are found on my YouTube as well. And then I just kind of wanted to briefly mention too, because I've been getting a lot of positive feedbacks and comments about my postings online. And I just want to kind of explain to you that I put a lot of thought into it because, again, as a coach, a lot of stuff that you're seeing now outwardly, this is what I would be doing behind the scenes with my clients. Like I would just help cultivate a different mindset. Because think about it. What is the definition of insanity? Right, think about it. Like, I'm going to tell you the definition of insanity in case you don't know, but I want you to really, really think about it. Don't just hear me. I want you to listen. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Like, think about that. You're doing something over and over again, but you're expecting something different to happen. Isn't that insane if you really think about it? It is. So I say that to say, if what you're doing is working, then by all means continue doing it. But if it's not working for you, if there's some area or something in your life that is not working for you, then perhaps it's time to do something different. I'll give you an example. I teach aerobics. I'm an aerobic instructor. I teach just about all the formats, or all the main formats. So they have all these new things coming out. So some of those certifications I have, some of them I don't get. But I get a lot of, or I see, I'm not going to talk necessarily about my class, I see a lot of students, and they have their favorite instructor, right? So which I totally get. I am people's favorite instructor, and I have my favorite instructors, and they keep going to the same class over and over again. Over and over again. They're wondering why they're not losing weight or they're not doing this. They're having fun in the class. And again, I get the mentality of wanting to go. It's your favorite class. You love fun. You have fun, and it just revive you. However, if your goal is to lose weight or whatever, understand that you can't do the same thing. And let me tell you why. Your body starts to remember how you move and react. Now I'll use myself as an aerobic instructor. And think about like the aerobic instructors that you see, because we're all very critical of each other. You may see some aerobic instructors that are more in shape than the others. You're like, well, how is that person aerobic instructor? She's not even in shape. Well, let me tell you why. Because as an aerobic instructor, our bodies as well get used to how we move. So let's say I teach, like my favorite thing to teach, all-time favorite thing to teach is kickboxing, particularly turbo kickboxing. Well, okay, it goes hand in hand with step. I haven't taught step in a while because like step is like a dying breed. But turbo kickboxing is one of my favorite things to teach. I love teaching turbo kickboxing. It's a cardio class. It's energizing. There's punches and kicks. I just love it. It just fills me, right? But I know if I want to lose weight, I can't take my class. Like in other words, when I'm teaching, I'm there for my students. I'm not there for me. Now, obviously, I'm working out, right? But because I've been teaching it for so long, my body knows how I move and how I react. So it's going to get used to it. Our bodies are like powerful machinery, if you will. Like it's incredible. It's impeccable. It really is. If you think about what we do from the fact that we merely give birth. I mean, I can just go on. Okay, let me just stay on point here. So your bodies get used to how you move, right? So over time, then if, for instance, I may, if I don't do something different, my body's going to then get used to how I move and I'm not going to be able to get any more gains. So then you say, okay, well, what if they vary the routine? Well, that helps because when you vary the routine, you're doing something different. But generally speaking, once they vary the routine, you do the same routine for a while. Then your body gets used to it. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying don't go to your favorite class or don't do what you like to do, but if you want to reach your goal, you want to reach your goal faster, you have to do something different. So instead of going to your, I should say instead of, also, in addition to going to your favorite class, do another class. Like for instance, if I want to lose weight, I would go take someone else's class because now I'm moving differently. And again, don't worry about, argue about this, that, and the other. I'm not here to, if you take what I'm saying or not. This is just a suggestion. This is something to keep you open-minded. Remember, my job as a coach is to challenge you. I don't want you to agree with me necessarily all the time. And I'm not saying that what I say is true. And then I also want to say just in general that I love what my pastor says, and I'm going to kind of like piggyback on his on this particular phrase that he says. If what I say offends you, charge it to my head, not to my heart. So in other words, my goal is to help, is never to offend. Now, but I do say this because I've actually, as coaching clients, a lot of times, people get offended about something, but it's nothing personal, and I don't take it personally. I really don't, because I understand the psychology of what's going on. If you're getting offended, it's because it's hitting something that you know inside is to be true, but you're fighting against it. So just understand, just be open to something different, particularly if what you're doing is not working. If you're having trouble getting out of bed, if you're just, you just don't have a good day, or, you go through life and you're like, why? Be open to something different, something positive that can actually transform you, okay? All right, so in this book, we're finishing up chapter 7, and again, there's 15 chapters in this book, but I have like 6 days left to do this book. But I love that we're reading about happiness because, again, we all heard, or most of us have heard, that happiness is internal, and that you have the choice and the power to be happy or not. And again, a lot of these adages we hear it, but do you really listen and do you really implement? Because again, it's one thing to know, because if you know, generally speaking, you're going to act on it, right? But it's another thing to say that you know, but then continue doing what you're doing. And again, it's all because of habits, and I get it. And you're saying, I understand, but Pia, why is it hard for me to work on these habits? Like, I understand what you're saying. I get it. The book is explaining to you how you do that. And we did things like visualization, mental imaging, acting as if, relaxating. That's all the things that we do to kind of reprogram our self-image so that we're able to change those habits. Because if you remember, where is it? I have it here somewhere. This is a drawing that I've been showing up for the last few days, and this is about your mind. Because again, when you're talking about visualization, anything that you picture here, you can manifest in reality, by the way, okay? If you think about it, like seriously, this stuff is powerful. Like, this is so exciting to me. This freaking clipboard was the thought of someone at one point. Oh, this YouTube, this Facebook, Mark, thought about it. Everything starts with a thought. It starts with a visualization. So if you can think about it, you can manifest it, right? But when I ask you, what do you think about when you think about your brain? Not your brain, duh, we know what the brain is. What do you think about when you think about your mind? then a lot of people have a blank, or they think about their brain, which your brain is not your mind. So I'm giving you a visualization of what your mind looks like. It's comprised of two parts. And yes, I know it's backwards, but you can understand it. All right, so the first part of your mind is the conscious. And again, I say this over and over again because repetition is the key. You may hear something 2 or 3 times and finally it kind of sinks in. If you hear it one time, a lot of times it doesn't sink in. So if this is your first time seeing this, then congratulations. If this is your third, you say, I got it, I understand it, I know it, then repeat it to yourself again. So this top portion of your mind, this is your conscious mind. This is known as your thinking mind. This is where our thoughts are happening right here. And then the bottom portion of our mind is known as our subconscious mind. This is our emotional mind. This is where we start to feel, okay, when you put feelings to things. So what you think, if you add feelings, are going to be your habits and your belief, and they're going to manifest into your actions or lack thereof. Okay, so and again, I'll say that again. What you think and what you feel results in action or the lack thereof. So you may be thinking positive thoughts here, but subconsciously, remember, a lot of times we don't know this subconsciously. Subconsciously, you're feeling bad or negative or a failure or not worthy, and so you're not acting. And you're saying, but I'm thinking these positive thoughts. Why aren't I having the reaction or the results that I want? It's because of this area down here. I explained also that as a child, we were born without a conscious. So you see, there's no top portion; it's just a bottom portion. So everyone, this is not just me. This is scientific. This is not mine. I gotta remember the doctor because I read this a while ago. But this is a doctor like in the 1950s. I'll come up with his name at one point. But anyway, this is scientific. Okay, so we were born without a subconscious mind, and then our environment, namely our parents, implanted the seed. So what you think about money, what you think about the government, what you think about relationship, what you even think about God, everything, those were planted to you by your parents, okay, when you were little. And then about 5 or 6, we start developing a rational thinking mind. So as you can imagine, those plants, those seeds about what, whatever it is, good or bad. And again, it's not that they were negative, trying to be, this is not something that they necessarily intentionally did. It was something intentionally and unintentionally. Like, in other words, life happened. For those of you that have children, you understand that you get mad, or let's say money may be scarce, and so you may say something about money, not even thinking how it's going to affect a small child. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's just life happens, but it is being programmed in you. Okay, so then fast forward to when you're growing up. This little circle right here represents your self-image, and it's going to be comprised upon all those beliefs and habits that was formed when you were smaller, and then of course the other habits that are formed as you're as a growing adult. But right now, this subconscious portion of it is a good majority of what our reactions, because what you think, if it doesn't come down here, it's not going to result in here. Okay, so that's why it's very, very important that you surround yourself around, positive people. It's like, for instance, I tell people when I'm coaching, look at the 5 people that you're hanging around with. You're a combination of those 5 people. So if you look at the 5 people that you're hanging around with and you say, oh, this is my best friend and blah, 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 are you happy with where they are in life? Because guess what? Where they are in life is where you are in life. Like, seriously. So what do? You find more people. Do I say totally get rid of your friends? Because some of them may even be families. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You don't get rid of them, but you just don't stay long and you don't go as often. Okay, so in other words, you have to do something different in order to get a different outcome. And sometimes that difference is not going to be comfortable. A lot of times it's not. We get into our comfort zone, the area that we all love, but it really is a dangerous place to be, particularly because we were created as success mechanism. We were created to succeed. And if you're not succeeding, it's because you're staying around in that comfort zone. Do you know that a good majority of us tiptoe through life to make it safely through death? Think about it. You're tiptoeing through life to make it safely through death. You only get one shot at life. This is not a practice. This is not theater where you're going to have multiple practices and then all of a sudden showtime. This is showtime, people. What are you waiting on? Okay, what are you waiting on? All right, so let's get to our reading so we can get on with the other portions of it. By the way, the 5 minutes starts right now. All right, so I'm just going to read a little section of it. It's called The Attitude That Makes for Happiness. Again, in the book so far, we're talking about happiness and learning that happiness is a habit. So it says it's been pointed out earlier that since man is a goal-striving being, he is functioning naturally and normally when he is oriented towards some positive goal and striving towards some desirable goal. Happiness is a symptom of normal, natural functioning, and when a man is functioning as a goal thriver, he tends to feel fairly happy regardless of circumstances. My young business executive friend was very unhappy because he had lost $200,000. This was a previous example. Thomas Edison lost a laboratory worth millions in a fire with no insurance. What in the world would you do? Asked someone. What in the world will you do? Asked someone. We will start rebuilding tomorrow, said Edison. He maintained an aggressive attitude. He was still goal-oriented despite his misfortune. And because he did maintain an aggressive goal-striving attitude, it is a good bet that he was never very unhappy about his loss. All right, so for our practice exercise, we're going to form the habit of reacting aggressively and positively toward threats and problems. Form the habit of keeping goal-oriented all the time, regardless of what happens. Do this by practicing a positive, aggressive attitude, both in actual everyday situations that come up and also in your imagination. See yourself in your imagination taking positive, intelligent action towards solving a problem or reaching a goal. See yourself reacting to threats, not by running away or evading them, but by meeting them, dealing with them, grappling with them in an aggressive and intelligent manner. Most people are brave only in the dangers to which they accustom themselves, either in imagination or practice. All right? So, your assignment today is to cultivate that. Good morning, Tiffany. Good to see you. Good morning, Pamela. Hi. How's it going? Wait. Oh, Pam. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I wear glasses. These are not even my prescription glasses. So I see little writings. I gotta kind of get close up on you to see who you are. But hi, Pam. Pam. Oh my gosh. I haven't seen you for ages. Good to see you. All right. So anyway, your assignment today is to think about what we talked about all this morning, and then to practice being happy, regardless of your circumstance. I want you today. Actually, I'm going to give you 2 assignments. Okay, seriously, 2 assignments because I think they're going to be very helpful for you. The first assignment is I want you to consciously start thinking about what you're doing. Okay, let me say it again. I want you to consciously think about what you're doing. And what does that mean? I want you to consciously think about every single action that you take, because when you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to recognize these little habits that you have. And the only way to change something is to be aware of it and to acknowledge it, because there's a lot of things that we do that we don't even realize. For instance, I'll give you an example, driving. Do you know that a lot of times you drive without a habit? You don't really think about what you're doing when you're driving. Has there ever been a time where you've driven somewhere you're like, how in the heck did I just get here? Why? It's because your subconscious, we've been driving for years, so our subconscious know, particularly if it's somewhere that you go often, our subconscious know this, and so it goes on automatic and gets you there. But I want you to consciously, today particularly, consciously think of every single thing that you do, because then you're going to start noticing, wait, I have a habit of doing this. And then once you know that, if it's a habit that serves you, then by all means keep it. But if it's a habit that doesn't serve you, then guess what? It's time to go. Who says that you have to keep a habit? Who says that you have to keep a belief? You say, well, Pia, this is something that I believe forever. So what? If it's not serving you, it's not serving you. Remember what I said. Why are you tiptoeing through life to make it safely through death? You got to change something if you want something different. If you're happy with everything, then by all means, continue doing what you've been doing. But if not, it's time to do something different. And the time to do something different is now about acknowledging your habits and your beliefs that are not serving you, because now it's time for them suckers to go. And we're going to cultivate new habits. Now, the second assignment I want you to do today is I want you to consciously be happy. No matter what happens, if someone cuts you off, be happy. Whatever circumstance happens, if you lose your job today, you walk in and you lose your job, be happy. Okay, let me explain how that you can help do this. Now, I just want to give you an assignment without giving you some tools to help you. And now, I did this a long time ago, and that wasn't because a self-conscious thought per se, but I was, because I live in Southern California, right? And I'm coming from Atlanta, and there's a lot of road rage in Atlanta. There's a lot of road rage in Atlanta. I will say here in Southern California, we're a little bit more liberal. We're a little bit more like forgiving. People can cut us off, and you're like, you know, people literally will. You're in the far lane, and they literally will just come across, and you just like, oh, okay, let me slow down and let them go. In Atlanta, that just would not happen. Like you might get shot doing that kind of stuff. So I come from a combination of all that. So in between in my transition, how I learned to be happy if someone cuts me off is this. Let's say I'm speeding, because I shouldn't be saying this on Facebook because there might be some cops watching. I don't speed. In California, you can drive 80, even though the speed limit is 70. You can drive 80 because I passed several cops doing it. And so not necessarily, it is speeding literally, but it's not. But anyway, so if someone cuts me off, instead of being angry about that person, that idiot that just cut me off, for one thing, I no longer call that person an idiot because, again, I've changed. What I say to myself is, you know what? That person just cut me off because it forced me to slow down, like slam on my brakes and almost like, you know, cause a heart attack because my heart starts pumping. But that person just saved me from a ticket up ahead because I was speeding or I was doing this and they cut me off to force me to slow down. So I'm thankful for that person for doing that. If you do that over several times, I guarantee you would have a totally different attitude when someone cuts you off. Now, it's not a big deal right now if someone cuts me off. Do I sometimes revert? Oh, yeah, I'm human. But then I'm like, okay, but because I've been doing it so long, now I'm like, wait, well, you're reverting back. Come back to your new self. And I said, okay, but for the most part, seriously, this is true. For the most part, when people cut me off, I don't, I don't care. I just, okay, well, let me, that. And then another thing I do, this is another thing I do because it helps as well. And again, I'm just using this one as an example, but you can see how you can cultivate this into other things in your life as well. If they cut me off or if they're speeding or doing something, you know how people are that are driving, it's just crazy. I say to myself, particularly if they're speeding or driving up close behind me, I just get on over and say they're in a rush because they have something important to do. Maybe their wife is, in the hospital having a baby, or maybe they're doing something. They need to get somewhere important, so let me move out of the way so let them get through. Because there are times when I need to get somewhere too, right? And I don't want no one cutting me off or whatever. So those are different tools that will help you today as you're driving or going through your day to help you be happy. So try to cultivate the habit of just being happy all day today, like seriously. And then let me know how that works for you, okay? All right, so gosh, again, now because it's no longer a challenge, it's still 15 minutes, but that was like your elongated 5 minutes of mine. So we're going to move on to the yoga. And right now I'm going to still do the yoga salutations, but again, starting June 1st, for those of you that are just joining me, starting June 1st, is going to be new routines, new meditations, new book. I'm going to be reading out of my book, so I'm so excited. I'm still working with my publisher on that because the book is still right now is in editing. It's also book cover design. We're looking over the title and all that kind of stuff, but I'm at least going to read it. So I want to have it available for you, but I may not initially, okay? But again, I'll start talking about that more as the days are coming up. Oh, guess what? Jeez Louise, you know what happened, right? If you're watching me, you probably already guessed. Yes, I forgot my cell phone. All right, I get so excited with talking. By the way, for those of you that just joined me, as you see me walking down my hall, and I'll point it out as I get back to it, but I'm like going in and out of camera. I purposely surround myself by positive friends. In my house, I'm walking down what I call my hall of positivity. The Secret came out like in 2007. This stuff has been on my wall since like that time. Like I've upgraded some of them, but it's basically positive sayings. It's on both sides. And then let me just kind of tell you real quick, because I'm here and I'm talking a lot, about happiness for me. You know what? How I stay happy, like around my surroundings. Every single room in my house, every single room without fail, has a picture of my son Corey. And so one day I asked Corey, this was not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. I said, Corey, do you know I have a picture of you in every room in my house? He said, why? Because I'm your son? I was like, no, that's not just it. Yeah, you're my son. I said, but your smile. His smile just melts my heart. So every room that I go in, if I'm not feeling good or for some reason, because I'm not saying I'm 100% happy all the time. No one is but a saint, right? I'm not happy 100% of the time. But what helps me get happy is when I look at his smile. Like his smile is infectious. It's his smile. And then, of course, a lot of times I can remember in the picture. Let me see if I have one right here. I can remember in the picture what happened during that time. Like, look, see, if you've never seen my son, if not, why? Unless you just not follow me. In that case, thank you. But look at that smile. Like, doesn't that just like melt your heart? So that's one of the things I do. And also, I have a really good friend. Her name is Nell Bell. Her name is actually Janelle Seward, but before she got married, her name was Janelle Bell. So I always call her Nell Bell. Her little daughter, like I love all of her kids, but her little daughter, she's the middle daughter because she just had a new baby. Just her disposition, her smile. I tell Nell Bell, you have to send me a picture of her every single day. And even if she doesn't send me a picture, I have like so many pictures of her. So I look at Corey, my son, and I look at Addie. I love looking at that little girl in pictures. So if you see a lot of postings on Nell Bell, like if you don't know who she is, follow her, like seriously, Janelle Bell. If you see postings of her daughter, I guarantee it's because of me. Like she knows that I love looking at her daughter, so she tries to post anyway. It will post a lot of pictures. Okay, let's get started. I got my phone. All right. Okay, remember, yoga is a practice, so I want you to practice along with me. Today, what I think I'm going to do, and this is for me to see how it's going to work starting June 1st. I'm going to do the yoga now, and I'm going to walk you through it. I do have a mic, but the mic has a cord, so I want to try it with and without the cord just to see. So I want to see if you're able to hear me as I'm directing you through the yoga, and this will help me for when I start in June with doing a different yoga routine, okay? So give me feedback, particularly these next 6 days. Give me feedback on, things that you say, okay, I can't hear you, please wear the mic, blah, 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 different things, okay? Because give me feedback, because again, this is designed to help you, and I want to give you tools, and I want you to understand that even though this is like going way over, like the longest I've ever done per se, the 15 minutes is basically 5 minutes of the positive reading. So even if you just kind of fast forward to the reading portion, it's the 5 minutes of the yoga and the 5 minutes of the meditation. Some of you are saying, okay, I got it. I want to do the 15 minutes, but this is too early for me, or this is right in, if it's East Coast time, this is like right in the middle while I'm getting ready for work. I want you to understand that the premise of this is to tell you or to share with you, it's not the big things. A lot of times we think we have to do big things in order to make a difference. But it's actually the little small things that you can do, and just do them often because you're cultivating a habit. So all I'm trying to do with this challenge is how it's going to help you reach your goal is to understand by just doing something every single day in those 3 areas, just doing something, if it's just 5 minutes, something every single day, you're going to cultivate a habit that's going to grow into something bigger and bigger. And that's how you change things, okay? It's not the big changes. So what I'm saying is this. If you need tools, like for instance, this transformation challenge, you say, okay, I don't have 15 minutes per se to, because you're talking a lot and, blah, blah, blah. I want you to understand that you can just take 5 minutes in the morning when you wake up and do the yoga. Do some yoga when you first get up. It is a great exercise to do when you wake up. You're paying homage to the sun, giving you energy, to the universe, and then you're also strengthening your body. There's a lot of exercises and positions that I'm going to be introducing you to that you're going to see that your body's going to change even from just doing yoga. Okay, so then in the middle of the day, meditate. And remember, there's different types of meditation. The one that I was doing in the challenge was just stilling your mind and just calming your mind. I'm going to do a different meditation starting in June. I'll talk about that a little later. But I'm going to do a different type of meditation. But during the middle of the day, when you're getting stressed from your job or whatever, just take the time just to do some deep breathing, meditate, and clear your mind. And then just before you go to bed, do something positive, like read something positive so that it will germinate in your mind. So while you're sleeping, things will happen for you. You wake up and you're going to be in a positive mood. Because think about it. If you're watching something scary, if you're watching TV just before you go to bed, if you're watching the news, which is an absolute no-no, all of that stuff is still working in your subconscious while you're sleeping. Okay, and you don't want to do that. You want to go to sleep with something positive. Now, obviously, that's just a general suggestion, right? There's some people that say instead of reading before they go to bed, they need to meditate. So you may switch it up, or guess what? I meditate several times throughout the day. Like one day, I may even it will take a little walk. I maybe even show you I have a separate meditation room. Like it's a separate room. The only thing I do is meditate in there. So maybe one day I'll show you that, or maybe post like some pictures. That's probably more likely instead of like walking you through to that. But I have a separate place, so I meditate several times throughout the day. Okay, I read constantly. Okay, so this is again, but I don't want you to think you have to read a book. Don't think of it like that. Just think of it's just 5 minutes. I'm going to just read for 5 minutes. I'm going to meditate just for 5 minutes. And we're just going to do some yoga for just 5 minutes. If you start there, then over time, you're going to find out that you're actually doing more than 5 minutes. Okay, so does that work for you? All right, let me stop talking and get to the yoga. Like, get to it already. All right, let's see. I see you say, Oh, okay. I can see it. Oh, it says, I don't know when you post it, but you said that my son has my smile. Yes, he does. But you know what's so funny? Now we're talking about that. I'll just say this real quick, and I promise I'll get to the yoga. So my son, like literally, this is like no joke. I'll be honest and tell you, I actually wanted a little girl. Because I grew up wanting a little girl. I've had a girl's name ever since I was little. I wanted a little girl. But God knew what he was doing when he gave me a boy, particularly this son right here. Like, oh my God, he's been, honestly, if all children were guaranteed to turn out like Corey, I would have had a million of them. Now, obviously I got divorced, but I would have had a million of them. Let me tell you why. His disposition is just, from a small child, from being like a baby, I can call my mom right now, and she will tell you, without me even prompting her, she will tell you that when Corey was a baby, he literally would pop up every single morning and smile. Literally, as a baby, like I'm talking about like two, of course, like around 2-3 years old, he would literally pop up smiling, and it would just melt you, like it would just make your day. He just has a really good disposition. So I used to always tell my sister, I have a younger sister, her name is Sherry. Her nickname is Shine. So does that tell you, like, she is I tell my sister, Corey is your son. Because you guys think I have a beautiful smile. She has a beautiful disposition and a beautiful smile. Hence her nickname is Shine. I remember stories from when she was little, or when we were younger. She used to call up the operator. Remember, we used to have operators. She used to call up the operator and just have conversations. She just go and have conversations with homeless people and all that kind of stuff. Like her disposition. Corey doesn't do that. I mean, obviously it's a different day, but he has the same disposition as my sister Sherry. So that's why I have him in every single room, because he brightens up my day. All right, okay, I promise I'm getting to the yoga. Just getting excited. All right, guys. Okay, so I'm going to try a new music here. All right, you're going to come to, you're too loud. You won't be able to hear me. All right, stand in a nice comfortable position with your feet directly underneath your hips, shoulders are drawn back, relax, and your head is facing forward. Take a nice deep breath as you inhale, and as you exhale, dive your body forward. As you inhale, look up halfway. As you exhale, step back into the plank. As you continue exhaling, release your knees, your chest, and your chin. As you inhale, come up to upward facing dog. Relax your shoulders down. And then curl your toes under and come to downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for 5 deep breaths. Your fingers and your toes are spread out nice and wide. Your feet are hip distance apart, and your hands are shoulder distance apart. Your head is in line with your bicep. Your tailbone is sticking or facing toward the back of the room. Press your chest toward your thighs and your knees. Now step forward, right, left. Inhale up. And exhale down. Again, inhale. And as you exhale, dive the body forward. And look up halfway. As you exhale, step back, left, right, into the plank. Continue exhaling, releasing your knees, your chest, and your chin. Inhale to upward facing dog. Press the shoulders down, away from your ears. Curl the toes under and exhale to downward facing dog. And give me 3 deep breaths. Your thumbs are facing each other. Continue breathing, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Try to get your heels down toward the mat. Now step forward, left, right. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, release down to a forward bend. Inhale, lift the body all the way up. And exhale, dive forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, step back, right, left. Release your knee, chest or chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale up to upward facing dog. And then curl your toes under and exhale to downward facing dog. Now step forward, right, left. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take it all the way up, lean back. And exhale, forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Arch your back. Flatten out the palms, step back, left, right. Release your knee, chest, and chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. Curl the toes under, and exhale to downward facing dog. Step forward, left, right. As you inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take it all the way up, arch back. And exhale, dive forward. Look up halfway. Step back, left, right. Knee, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Curl the toes under and exhale to downward facing dog. Step forward, left, right. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take it all the way up. Palms together, and exhale, release down. Namaste. Okay, so this brings us to our meditation. So for the meditation, I want you to come into a nice, comfortable seated position. If you're seated in a chair, take off your shoes so that your feet are grounded to the floor. Make sure that you wear nice, loose clothing when you're meditating, because you want to make sure that you're able to breathe, because we're doing Ujjayi breath. So with Ujjayi breathing, as you inhale, your abdomen is going to come out as the diaphragm goes up, the chest cavity. Your chest is going to rise. And as you exhale, your chest is going to fall, and your abs are going to come in. Okay? So Ujjayi breaths. Just clear your mind, focus on your breath. It's normal and natural, particularly as new time meditators, even seasoned meditators, for thoughts to come into your mind. That's just a sign of an active human brain, which is okay. But we're trying to practice controlling those thoughts. So as they come into your mind, just gently push them aside and continue focusing on your breathing. We're going to be inhaling for a count of 1. We're going to hold it for a count of 1, and we're going to exhale for a count of 2. Okay? So you're going to inhale, you're going to hold it, and then you're going to exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Again, inhale, hold, relax, and return refreshed and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. Okay, before we sign off, I want to remind you your 2 assignments for today. Your first assignment is to consciously think about everything that you do with the hopes of identifying different habits that you may have developed over the years. Because in order to change those habits, you first have to be aware of them. And then your second assignment is to be happy throughout the whole day, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the events are, you're going to be happy. Okay? So let me know how that goes for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.